Record. Welcome to our second mini episode where we'll be looking at the Discrimination and Crime Survey.
So we've got a lot of diversity in terms of gender and ethnicity. So thank you guys. Number one, I believe that my race will affect how I receive justice from the legal system. So majority we've got
Agree and
yeah.
strongly agree. I mean, I would agree with that as well. I think that some people are more disadvantaged because of their race, whereas more people are advantaged.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you hear about lots of hate crimes and I mean, I guess it's not from the justice system, but there are so many people who don't get justice when they've been victims of hate crime.
Exactly.
Just because of their race, I'd say.
And I know there are some cases where the judge has been found to have like a racial bias, or like members of the jury, they might have a racial bias as well, which can affect what type of sentence an individual gets, regardless of the crime they've committed.
Yeah, definitely. Question 2. I believe that my gender will affect how I receive justice from the justice system. I think gender, sexual identity, everything can definitely affect how you receive justice. Just again, sort of the same as race. People have different views, and it might be something that they grew up, observing.
So they've learned it from their parents, like
sort of, yeah.
That's kind of how they've come to adopt that view.
Yeah, or it could be like the friends they hang out with. They might have bad views about certain types of people, which then this person will have. And let's say they work in the justice system, and that even though they want justice for the person, they might subconsciously,
exactly. Because like no one's born with these views. People always adopt these views and learn them.
Exactly. So it's society that's
built upon it.
Yeah.
And I think society is built where, I mean, for a long time where men have had more advantages than women, just like, with equal pay and all that. Obviously, it's become better now in modern society. But I think definitely looking at the history, you can see people are disadvantaged because of their gender and their sexuality as well.
Definitely. Question 3. I feel confident that I won't be wrongly arrested or suspected of a crime because of my race or gender. So I think we've got
agreeing mostly.
I think it's quite
either agree or neither agree, not disagree.
Oh yeah, I think it's quite varied, to be honest. I guess it's confusing. You can't really say for sure because you're conflicted between like you want to be confident that it's the justice system. It won't do something that isn't justice. So
then you also don't know
when you hear news like that. You don't know unless you're put into that situation, and obviously no one wants to be put into that situation. So
I think it also depends on like the police officer that's dealing with you as well. I mean, you hear these cases of these corrupt police officers which arrest innocent people for no reason at all, but obviously not all the police officers are like that. So it really depends on the circumstance as well.
Again with the whole how they're brought up and their views sort of depend on like how they react to a certain situation.
Definitely,
Question 4. The physical appearance of a criminal doesn't dictate the sentence they're given. I think mostly did disagree. Yeah. I mean, I would say there's not like a huge number of cases where I don't think that's very common. Like, I mean, I personally haven't heard, but like, just because the criminal is good looking, just like, yeah, sure, I'll give him like a shorter sentence or something.
I mean, I did research one crime where the judge thought the lady was quite good looking, so she got a lower sentence than she shouldn't be given. So in that case, I would say the physical appearance of a criminal did dictate the sentence they were given. But like you said, I think it is quite rare.
Because it isn't more of like the justice system, but even with the community, there was this social experiment that was done. It's not official, but like they showed a picture of
I heard that.
Richard Ramirez. He is the Midnight Stalker, I think. I don't know. He was a serial killer, and then like another actor who wasn't deemed to be like attractive, but he was a good person. Like, he had a charity and stuff. And then asked like people, I think they asked who's more good looking or like would you trust more. People pointed to Richard Ramirez, the serial killer, just because of how he looked.
And then he was more good looking.
And
it's that halo effect, isn't it? Like beauty equals good, and if you're less attractive, then you're more likely to be bad. Whereas that's not even a thing. People have just made that up.
Yeah, definitely. And it just sometimes does people who have views like that gives them a false sense of security, which makes them fall into these sort of situations.
And it's sad to think that like how you're treated in the justice system or how you're treated in the legal system can depend on how you look. Whereas that really has nothing to do with it. If you committed a crime, that's like what's inside you. That has nothing to do with how you look.
How you look, yes. Yeah, that in no way or shape or form like affects the actions you've taken or the things you've done.
That's just your genetics. That's solely biological.
Yeah. Question 5. I believe that my socioeconomic class will not affect how I'm treated. So we've got majority disagree. No, I think it's... Oh yeah, majority disagree.
They agree.
Oh yeah, they agree. I believe
they believe that it will not affect them.
No, they disagreed. So I believe that my socioeconomic class will not affect how I'm treated. So they disagree. So they're saying I believe my socioeconomic class will affect how I'm treated.
Yeah.
Because you hear lots of bribery, like corruption in police.
Exactly.
I mean, not too often. Like, there are so many good police forces out there, but you do hear so many cases of bribery and corruption. And yeah, it's unfair. Like, the whole idea of justice system is to give justice no matter who you are. The fact that just because of your social standing, it affects how you get that justice is sort of...
Yeah, and I think with media attention as well, I know that if you look at the Madeleine McCann case, for example, at the same time that Madeleine McCann went missing, a girl named Shannon Matthews, she also went missing. But her family, they were from like a council estate, they were living on benefits, whereas Madeleine McCann's family, both parents are doctors, they're a middle class family, they're quite well off, but the media often portrayed the Matthews family in a very negative light, and they gave a lot more attention to the McCann family. And some people say it was because of the socioeconomic class. So, the McCann family were treated better in the eyes of the media because they were wealthier, because they were doing better in financial situation compared to the Matthews.
I think it's not just the justice system, it's also the community.
Yeah, definitely the economy, I guess.
Yeah. Question 6. I am more likely to become a victim to a crime because of my race. So we've got...
Most people disagreed.
Disagree.
I would agree that I'm more likely to become a victim because of my race.
I guess it all depends on the individual themselves, like the way they've been brought up, their views.
Exactly.
Because if there are like families who has had previous mistrust with the police, they're obviously
gonna believe that
they're most likely.
Yeah.
But if they've had good encounters with the police force, and like to believe that justice will be served no matter who they are. Definitely, I would disagree with this.
So sort of learning from the past, like I know how their parents have had interactions with the police. That's how they're gonna move forward and what they would believe.
Or you just want to have faith in them, because that's the whole point. Like,
that's
you
the role.
want to feel like they're doing their job because their main aim is to protect you. So you want to believe that yes, they will protect me, because if not, you just feel helpless and scared.
Exactly. So, and like if you don't have the police to call out for, who do you have to call out for? Like
exactly
those other people.
So yeah, I guess it depends on the individual entirely. Thank you for listening to the second mini episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and check out our next one where we discuss nature versus nurture.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.